It's the biggest film made during the pandemic. Southern superstar Vijay's much-awaited film Master releases tomorrow in cinemas, but it has already been leaked online just a day before its big release. Master is directed by Lokesh Kanagaraj, and Vijay, also known as Tala, is the lead superstar. The movie is scheduled to be released on the 13th of January, that's tomorrow, ahead of the Pongal holiday on the 14th. But just a day before its release, the entire film has been leaked online. The director of the film, Lokesh Kanagaraj, and producer XB Film Creators have requested citizens not to share the leaked clips on social media and or the internet. Lokesh said that it has been a 1.5 year long struggle to bring the film to audiences, with much of the work taking place during the COVID pandemic. He added that they hope viewers will enjoy the film in theatres. Initially, the film was supposed to be released in 2020. However, because of the pandemic, of course, the release date had to be shifted to 2021, and it will be releasing tomorrow, a day before Pongal. Pramod Madhav live with me for more on this. Pramod, Master is simply the biggest film that has been made largely during the pandemic. It will be the biggest film to release during the pandemic. It releases tomorrow in cinemas, but unfortunately, and this is a familiar problem to films in India and especially in Tamil Nadu, parts of it or the entire film have been leaked online.
Well, it is very unfortunate. Just like you mentioned, it is one of the master films that is going to be released, and there were three actual films: Surya Surare Portrait, which was released on OTT, Ajit's Valimai, which is yet to be released, and then you have Master. You could see fans and all all getting prepared and ready for all this event currently. In fact, as we speak, these fans are at this location and they are trying to do the final touch. That is you always know about the poster war when it comes to Tamil Nadu, Chennai especially, and these are Vijay fans at the last moment. Also, they are trying to fight and get one section of it, and that's how they are trying to show their banner, and that way their love. In fact, I have Vijay fans over here as well. நாளைக்கு படத்தை பத்தி என்ன உன்னோட எக்ஸ்பெக்டேஷன்?
நாளைக்கு படம் வேற லெவல்ல இருக்க போகுது. அத பத்தி சொல்ல வார்த்தைலாம் இல்ல.
சரி, அந்த படம் ரிலீஸ் ஆச்சு, அத பத்தி
அதெல்லாம் எதுக்கு வேஸ்டா தாளாம பண்ணாலே தெரியல. எதுக்கு நம்மள பண்ணிராங்க தேவையில்லாம. எல்லாம் அவங்க அப்பா மாதிரி பண்றாங்க, விஜய் பாதி அப்பா மாதிரி.
Well, it seems they are saying they're all waiting for the movie, and it's very unfortunate that the scenes were released. In fact, as we speak, these fans are also trying to pour milk on this banner, and that's the reason they are standing here with milk packets in their hand. We have advised him not to climb on this, but these fans are not listening to us. It's very unfortunate because they claim that this is the way they can show their love to Vijay. It's completely dangerous, but still these fans are be it Rajinikanth fans or be it currently Vijay fans, everybody believe that this is one way they are honoring their action fans, and this is why they are climbing. As you could see over there, these fans are climbing atop, having milk packets in their hands, and saying this is one way they are trying to show their love towards their fans. In fact, as we should see, another person also climbing over the posters currently, carrying milk pockets in their actually he's holding it in his mouth, and this is how they are trying to show that they are waiting for it. The bigger part here is that this movie was under production for nearly 1.5 years. Because of the pandemic, it got delayed for nearly 6 months, and currently as finally this movie has been given a go ahead with to be released, fans are celebrating. Imagine the movie is to be released tomorrow. The first show is by 4 a.m. in the morning, and even after that, almost 12 hours before, the fans are over there and they are celebrating it. And as you could see, they are pouring milk on Vijay's poster. This poster was brought over here. There was a controversy because this team did not get the permission earlier, so they waited for almost half a day to tied up the poster, and they are giving it milk abhishekam. Such is the craze of fans for Vijay, and this is what you could see behind us. Tomorrow it's going to be much more crazy, that we can assure you.
Great images, Pramod. Thank you very much for getting us that live shot. You caught it right in the middle of that fan moment there, which is something we're going to see much more of later today and early tomorrow morning during the launch. We leave you for the moment to speak to the other fans. I just want to tell our viewers that the leaking of movies online is something that has afflicted many movies in the past in Tamil Nadu. Master is not the only one. Tamil movies, big budget movies, have been on the target list of pirates for a long time. In December 2020, the movie Kombu with the cast Disha Pandey, Ganja Karupur, director Ia Ibrahim. In August 2020, the movie Danny was also leaked. Then in December 2019, the movie Hero had parts of it that appeared online before the movie's actual release. September 2019, the movie Kapan starring Surya, Mohanlal, Arya and Saisha, that was also leaked. In March 2019, the movie Super Deluxe, which became a critically acclaimed film on platforms, was also leaked. In March 2019, the same month, Ira with Nayanthara, director Sarjun, that was also leaked. So the leaking of films is a terrible thing. It goes completely against, all that is right. But it is something that has afflicted cinema for many, many years. I've taken out just a few examples to show you that this is something that has happened even previously during the pandemic and in the last 2 years multiple times. Welcoming onto the show, Sridhar Pillai, film critic, very well-known film critic and writer. Durgesh is a writer and filmmaker. But I first want to go across to Naveen Vox, who is a singer and an acclaimed, a self-claimed fan of superstar Vijay. Naveen, I'm sure you're going to be going to watch the film tomorrow. Master is undoubtedly one of the big releases during this pandemic, but bad news about the film being leaked. How do you feel about that?
First of all, can you hear me?
Yes.
Perfect. So, first of all, piracy is nothing new actually in the cinema industry as a whole. It has been there since time immemorial. You can't even predict what was the first movie which was pirated as such.
Yeah.
But when it comes to a Vijay film, for us, actually, you call him Tala, right? It's actually Ilayya Talapati. We call him Ilayya Talapati Vijay. And after superstar Rajinikanth, he's the next superstar who has been much celebrated in Tamil Nadu, celebrated in the South as such. Because not just Tamil Nadu, even if you go to Kerala or Andhra, anywhere in the South, he's like a big celebrated person. And I don't celebrate Vijay movies in a way like other fans celebrate, like going to the theaters and putting posters and, doing the milk abhishekam.
Yeah, we just saw that in fact.
I don't do it that way. But my way of doing things is totally different. I take the good things what Vijay does. I recently planted 10 saplings at my house, like the same what Vijay did recently, the Green Challenge. So taking the good things from a star, that's what I do. So now coming to the point, coming to the pirated versions, actually it is disappointing. But again, on a whole, if you see, I don't think a die-hard Vijay fan will ever be disappointed about the scenes coming out, because having said that, they have brought the tickets, they have purchased the tickets, because being the first day first show, the tickets are really costly. And for people who love him like anything, they have got the tickets. And
4 a.m. is when the shows are going to be starting tomorrow, which is not unusual. That's a normal thing. Durgesh is a writer and filmmaker. I want to bring him in on this piracy aspect. Durgesh, piracy is not something new. We've seen it more and more. I've given examples of just 5 or 6 movies during the pandemic that have seen piracy as well. How harmful is it to films of this kind? Like young Naveen just said, superstar Vijay is a big phenomenon. And this is one of the big releases during the pandemic.
Piracy, am I audible?
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, piracy, I think it hasn't spared anyone. As you said, even the biggest movies, right from Chandramukhi, which had issues of piracy and all that. So to add to what you said, it's not only theatrical films. Having worked with the OTT space, I've seen a few web series also that have been leaked online. So it's definitely kind of an issue that's growing across the media, media outlets or platforms.
But Durgesh, as a filmmaker, I'm very curious to know, how do these things get leaked? Aren't especially big budget films normal people would wonder whether, these things are supposed to be highly secure because of the huge amounts of money that go into them, the huge amounts of, the fates that are dependent on the success and the returns on these films. Where do these things leak from?
No, I think from what reports we've got, they're speculating that it was from a private screening for the producers or for the, for someone involved with the film that these clips have leaked. Obviously, it's not right to say whether the person who did it was with, the intent to, leak the film or, just to make himself famous or just make an issue out of it. But this problem needs to be addressed probably at a much more seriousness than it really has, because at the end of the day, all you can see is the whole film industry almost has rallied behind the director, and they've expressed their support, and they've tweeted and they've taken to social media to tell fans not to share the clips that might have reached them through various messaging apps or social media platforms.
Absolutely.
I think it has to go without saying, because it's intellectual property.
Correct.
At the end of the day, it's something that is not tangible. It's not. You can't go and just claim saying, hey, this is my work. So those laws probably should be a little more stringent than they already are, and also people in the film industry should probably take a little more care in, make everything watertight. They make, there's so much care that was taken, on the set of the film. Obviously, it was shot largely, large parts of it during the pandemic.
Correct.
I think this is a, unfortunate event that has happened, but it has happened before, and really, we don't really know where to, block the plug.
True. I can imagine that there are a lot of moving parts. A lot of places from which a movie like this can be leaked. I'm sure many of the relationships in the making of a film are based on trust as well. So how to plug those gaps is going to be something that's going to be difficult for all filmmakers and producers. Sridhar Pillai, how big is this event? This is easily the biggest cinematic event in the pandemic. A large part of this film was made during the pandemic. It was supposed to come out last year. It's going to be out this year. There was some politics around it as well, with the whole, 50% cinema occupancy being taken to 100%, in order to favor this film. But that had to be backed down by the government. How big is this in your view, sir?
I think it's the biggest film post-pandemic, you can say, after lockdown. This is the biggest film releasing in Indian cinema. And the entire cinema, Bollywood and entire Indian cinema is looking forward to the release of Thalapathy Vijay's Master. Over 120 crores is riding on the film. Forget that. Even I was told by a leading Hollywood distributor, even outside India, people are looking to this film. Because if it does well at 50% occupancy, it is a green signal for more, in fact, more releases in India. If you have seen, Hollywood Tenet and Wonder Woman has done middling business.
Yes.
I wouldn't say great business, but middling business. So here comes Master, and Vijay has got the best fan base among the current lot of actors in South Indian cinema. And this film is releasing in Tamil, in Telugu, and in Hindi.
Yes.
And the way that it is being marketed in Hindi by the multiplexes is, something to see. Last year, this time, multiplexes would never allow a dubbed film in Hindi to release in their screens. Now here, they are releasing over 1,500 screens.
Amazing.
They are releasing Master. So you see the significance of the film. It's going to be huge. And the kind of advanced booking and craze for Vijay, what we have seen in Chennai and other places in Tamil Nadu, is just huge. Mind-blowing. And almost, I think, 900 out of the 1,100 odd screens in Tamil Nadu, which has the largest number of single screens, are going to play Vijay's Master. And in Kerala, they are reopening theaters tomorrow. And they said they are going to screen in all the theaters only one film, that's Master. And shows the impact that the man has on the masses down south, and the kind of money also riding on him. Because it's very unfortunate he has the biggest market for Tamil films in overseas market. Vijay has got, I think this film was sold before pandemic for around 35 crores. And now all the distributors are with.
Okay, we're just going to try and re-establish that link with Sridhar Pillai. But Naveen, you just heard what both Durgesh and Mr. Sridhar Pillai have just said. There is a lot riding on Vijay's fans. The fans of Vijay have a lot riding on them because in many ways, the success of this film is going to be a test. You know, whether with even 50% occupancy, the craze over Thalapathy Vijay is going to finally deliver. What do you think? Is it going to deliver?
I am sure that it will deliver. And again, coming to the point that this isn't the only Vijay movie which was leaked. And if you see the movies in the past, like Pokiri or Bhairava or Nanban, or even you will see Bigil, the previous movie which Vijay acted. So all these movies were actually leaked, but still, despite of leaking, still they ended up being a hit in the theaters, hitting the silver screens on fire. So, you know, like his movies, I would actually say, whatever ways it gets pirated, whatever ways it is out, whoever does it, still, you know, I think his movies has this impact of bouncing it back. Like, if it has got a good content, it still stays on the theaters. People still love it, and for Vijay fans, you know, you just need not tell it. It's like an atom bomb almost. Like they will still keep watching and watching.
Okay, atom bomb is a word that I think all filmmakers will be happy to hear. Durgesh, all filmmakers like yourselves, everyone will be looking at this film. You know, in many ways, like Sridhar Pillai said, it's the first mega release during the pandemic. So there is not only a lot riding on this film, but a lot riding on the films that come after it as well. It's like a test.
Correct. Yeah, this film is really going to set the precedent for, you know, how business-wise, you know, other filmmakers are going to plan their releases, how the producers are going to plan their releases, and we'll also get to see how people are, you know, conduct themselves at you know, cinema halls and theaters. So it's in many ways it's going to be a litmus test as such, if you can say.
Sridhar Pillai, what exactly will producers and filmmakers be looking out for? You know, apart from the occupancy, there is a great sense of expectation, you know, of how the film is going to be. There will also be a sense of nervousness because, you know, there was an attempt to open up the theaters to 100% occupancy, but with only 50% occupancy, the pressure is really, really high for this to work out.
Absolutely. Bang on. Because you have to recover. You imagine you're going to get only 50% in the first opening weekend. I mean, even though the tickets are costing exorbitant rate, this is going to be a test. Because how much are you going to get? Because 50% of the original 100%, and even if they get this 50% all housefull shows, which I'm sure they will get it for the opening weekend. After that, what happens? That after the first 5 days, when the Pongal holidays are over, I'm speaking specifically about Tamil Nadu, with all the theaters screening this film, what the producers are really looking forward is that the content should work with the masses. If the content works with the masses, then what happens is the family audiences should come to the theater. And what rest of India is looking at, that is especially the multiplexes and all the Bollywood big producers are looking forward. Can cinema come back to its pre-corona days? That's the big thing. And here is the biggest test as far as theatrical, as far as I'm concerned in India, Master would be the biggest test, theatrical test. And if it survives that, well, you can see big hero films. A lot of the big hero Bollywood films are lined up. And all of them will bring it, especially Salman Khan's Radhe and all that. Because this is all just the beginning.
Okay, Durgesh, final question to you, since you are a filmmaker, you're in this business as well. What has it been like during the pandemic? How difficult has it been to, you know, indulge in the act of filmmaking during the pandemic? You know, we've seen things open up slowly, lots of restrictions on sets, huge number of, you know, dampeners on creativity, if I may say so, on set, etc. What's it been like?
Well, personally, I was involved in two projects during the lockdown. One was an anthology web series, and the other one was a reality show, both for OTT platforms.
Right.
So yeah, it was initially very difficult because like I'm speaking to you right now, all our script discussions, everything was done on Zoom, which was itself a little difficult to get used to, and we had to largely restrict the number of people on sets, and people were put into clusters and they were tested repeatedly week by week, and then it has been really difficult because it's so easy to just find a lapse. It's so easy to have a little lapse of concentration, and probably something might go out of protocol, and you don't really know whether you might be putting yourself or larger people at risk. So it has been very difficult, but somehow we've managed to get those projects done, and one of them is already released as well. And yeah, it's moving slowly, but looking at the larger good, we do have to maintain these stringent norms, and we're just hoping that the vaccines really are coming up soon, and everything comes back at least to 80% normalcy, if not 100%, within the next few months.
Well, really hoping for that. I wish you all of you the best, and thank you very much for being with me on this discussion. The big film Master releases tomorrow, and there are so many hopes that are hanging on this, and not just of Vijay and the people involved with the film, but the film industry at large, like Sridhar Pillai said, not just in Tamil Nadu, but really, really across the country, and including especially in Bollywood. Thank you, gentlemen, for being with me here on this discussion. Thank you so much.